Welcome to the English language presentation 1. My name is Ashan Arachige and I am your teacher for grade 11 English. In this presentation, we will be covering a few topics that are included in the third midterm. In the next slide, we'll see the content that is covered in this presentation. In this presentation, we will look at Unit 9 first. That is the first unit you have for the third midterm. And in that, we will look at activities 1 to 6. Activity 1, telephone conversation, which you usually have to act out. Since we can't really act out, I would expect you to read it as if you were acting out at home, right? Activity 2, which is a bunch of questions that you need to answer based on what you read in activity 1. And activity 3 is reading and writing. There is a passage and you need to answer the questions that are given. We will be skipping over activities 4 and 5, and instead I have included section 1, listening section 1 and listening section 2 to cover the listening areas. And we'll be doing activity 6, which is again a writing assignment. And finally, we'll be looking at an essay that you need to complete for the third midterm. Okay, let's move on. Hello guys, I hope everyone is doing well. We'll look at activity 1. The first part is acting out, and I'll be reading out this conversation so that you can follow it with me. Hello, can I speak to anyone? Yes, you can speak to me. No, I want to speak to anyone. Yes, I understand you want to speak to anyone. You can speak to me. Who is this? I am someone, and I need to talk to anyone. It's urgent. I know you are someone, and you want to talk to anyone. But what's this urgent matter about? Well, just tell my sister anyone that our brother no one was involved in an accident. No one was injured and no one is being sent to the hospital. Right now, my father, everyone, is on his way to the hospital. Look, if no one was injured and no one was sent to the hospital, then the accident isn't an urgent matter. You may find this hilarious, but I don't have time for this. You are so rude. Who are you? I am sorry. Yes, you should be sorry. Now give me your name. That's what I said. I'm sorry. So in this act, you can see there's a clear misunderstanding because of the names of the people. So I want you to read it and try to understand what was happening and try to complete activity 2 and read out and the rest of the instructions will be given in the presentation. Thank you. Okay, so let's start with activity 2 now. In activity 2, the first question is to complete the chart that's given below. You can see some names and some boxes. What you have to do is you have to insert or rather write the names of the operator, the caller, the father, sister and brother according to the telephone conversation in activity 1, right? In the second question, you have to explain what actually happened in this conversation. Why do you think there was a misunderstanding, and explain in your own words what happened in this conversation, right? Just write briefly, and you can limit up to like 50 words. That's enough, right? In question 3, you are expected to write your own telephone conversation. Make sure your telephone conversation has a caller and an operator, and the caller's name is who and the operator's name is asking, right? I know it's You can make it into a funny conversation, but it shouldn't be too short. It should be as long as activity one is. So try to be creative and try to come up with a conversation where the caller name is who and the operator name is asking. You can follow the same format in activity one in order to do this task. Okay. So let's move on to the next activity in the next slide. Okay, so please turn to page number 104 and we'll look at the reading and writing section. I'm going to read out the passages given here and I want you to follow the lesson with me and then we'll look at the questions as well. Okay, so what can you say about the pictures shown above, right? So there are some interesting shapes in the pictures on the left and right. And if you have seen these pictures before, then you already know what they are. But if you don't, let's find out what they are, right? So what can you say about the pictures shown above? They are strange circles and patterns seen on farming areas or sites. These patterns are called circles. The circles are mostly found in the United Kingdom but have spread to dozens of countries around the world during the past decades. It is said that crop circles appear every week somewhere around the world. These circles are considered mysterious, since the strange circles and patterns appear mysteriously overnight in farmers' fields, provoking puzzlement. These patterns almost always involve circles, rarely triangles, rectangles, or squares, though some designs contain straight or curved lines. Nobody knows how they are made, who brought them there to the farming fields. Some believe that this can be a creation of hoaxes. But mysteriously, this nocturnal act is reported to be insensitive to cameras. Beside hoaxes, who devote their time and effort required to design and create the crop circles, are unlikely to carelessly leave obvious signs of their activities. Some believe that these patterns are made by aliens. In 1966, a farmer said he saw a flying saucer rise up from a swampy area and fly away. Later, he had seen a roughly circular area of debris and apparently flattened reeds and grass. He assumed that it had been made by the alien spacecraft. However, this was refused by the investigators, who stated that this could have been caused by a natural phenomenon. Those who claim that aliens physically make the patterns themselves from spaceships also suggest that they do it using invisible energy beams from space, saving them the trip down here. Still others believe that it is purely a human act. However, the cause behind crop circles remain a mystery until today. Okay, so these circles, there are a lot of theories that are put forward, as you can see from the passage. Some believe they are made by people who want to prank other people, and some truly believe that these circles, these shapes that appear in cornfields abroad, are the result of aliens who when they land their ships or project beams of light onto these fields, make these shapes, right? So, and everything happens overnight. So in one day it's not there, it's a normal field, and then all these shapes are there, right? So it's a bit mysterious. Okay, so We'll go on to the first question. State whether the following are true or false. So, crop circles are found everywhere in the world. They are made by farmers. Crop circles are created at night. So, I'm not going to discuss the answer. I'm just going to read through the questions. And I want you to find the answer from the passage. And it is pretty clear what the answer is to this question, but I want you to do it on your own, right? In question 2, you have to answer the questions given below. First one is, what are crop circles? You have to write a small answer to that. Where can you find them? Who creates crop circles? Is there a connection between crop circles and aliens? Give reasons for your answer. Now, in the last question, you're free to speculate, as in you're free to imagine and write your own answer as to how crop circles and aliens are related. You can also do some internet researches if that's necessary and find out some answers that are related and write an answer for this question. The next one, question number 3. Find synonyms for the following from the text. Active during night. Okay, so active during night, you need to find a synonym, as in a similar word from the passage. I won't be discussing the synonyms here because there are only 4 questions here. I believe we have done, or rather everyone knows what a synonym is. Try to find a word that matches the words that are given in this question. Active during night, arousing, practical joker, and muddy, right? There's a word that matches each of these sub questions in question number 3. Try to find them. In question number 4, you're supposed to write down the highlighted words given in the text. So the highlighted words are mysterious, puzzlement, believe, devote, create, rise, and rise. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There are 6 words that you need to put in this table, right? So if it's mysterious, then mysterious is an adjective. So write mysterious in the adjective column and then write the noun of mysterious, the verb of mysterious, and the adverb of mysterious. Now the first example is done for you. So the noun of mysterious is mystery. The verb is mystify. And the adverb is mysteriously, right? So do this for the remaining 5 words and try to find, first put it in the right column and then find the remaining answers to the rest of the columns. Okay, you're free to use the internet for any researchers, obviously. In question number 5, you're supposed to give a subtitle to each paragraph. Now over here you can see there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 paragraphs. So, and we know that a paragraph usually talks about a singular idea, right? So read the passage, or rather read each paragraph and try to come up with a topic that matches the idea of that paragraph, right? And then write down those answers. Okay, that's it for activity 3. So let's move on to the next slide. Okay, so let's look at activity 6. We'll be skipping over activity 4 and activity 5, and instead of activity 4 and 5, I'll be giving you a separate listening exercise and a writing exercise, which is dependent on the listening exercise after this slide. So we'll look at the writing section in activity 6, right? I will read out the information that is given. I want you to read and or follow the given information with me while listening to this recording, right? So it has given some information about the Bermuda Triangle. I hope everyone has heard about the Bermuda Triangle. If you haven't, I have included the Wikipedia description of what the Bermuda Triangle is. The Bermuda Triangle, also known as the Devil's Triangle or Hurricane Alley, is a loosely defined region in the western part of the North Atlantic Ocean, where a number of aircrafts and ships are said to have disappeared under mysterious circumstances. Mostly reputable sources dismiss the idea that there is any mystery, right? So it's a mysterious area in the ocean, in the Atlantic Ocean, where if you go by boat or if you go by planes into this region, then all the boats and the planes go missing. There's plenty of information about the Bermuda Triangle in the internet, but it's very interesting. But we'll read out the information that's given in the book, right? So the first point is, it's located in the Atlantic Ocean. The Bermuda Triangle falls between Bermuda, Puerto Rico, and Florida, right? So it's near the US. A number of mysterious planes and boat incidents have occurred. Most investigations indicate bad weather and human error are the more likely culprits, as in without any mysterious things happening like alien abductions. Most people think that it's human error, which means the people who are driving the planes or boats have made some error and knocked on a rock or something, or they have gone missing due to bad weather, maybe like a hurricane, so planes go missing, right? So Bermuda Triangle is actually a part of a regularly sailed shipping lane, with cruise ships and other boats also frequently sailing through the sea. Okay, so there are other ships as well that it's part of a shipping lane. A shipping lane it's more like a road on the ocean, a path that boats take in order to reach its destination, right? So this shipping lane is through the Bermuda Triangle, and so these boats don't seem to have any problem going through the Bermuda Triangle, right? Aircrafts are also common in the Bermuda Triangle, with both private and commercial planes commonly flying through the airspace. So there are planes flying through the airspace as well. So the people who have gone missing, then you can imagine that it's most likely a hurricane for the planes that went missing, or a human error for the boats that went missing, right? Stories of unexplained disappearances in the Bermuda Triangle started to reach public awareness around 1950 and have been consistently reported since then. Unverified supernatural explanations for Bermuda Triangle incidents have included references to UFOs and even the mythical lost continent of Atlantis. Okay, so if you haven't heard of the lost city of Atlantis, then you should probably look that up as well. It's another interesting theory, that there is a city that is lost to the ocean, and it's called the lost city of Atlantis. Okay, so the supernatural instance, as in the reason why people assume that there are supernatural things happening or there are aliens, is because people have tried to look for the ships that went down or the planes that went missing in the ocean, right? It's a triangle, so they tried to map the ocean flow and try to find out where are these ships, like where did they go, right? But they couldn't find them, so which is why all these mysterious theories are popping out. Okay, other explanations have included magnetic anomalies. So a magnetic anomaly is something, so we all know the earth has a magnetic core, right? We have magnetism all around us, which is what is protecting the earth from solar radiation, right? So there are people who believe that in this particular area of sea in the Bermuda Triangle, the magnetic what do you call field, the magnetic field is extremely high in some places, right? So if the magnetic field is high, it can mess with the compasses and all the electrical equipment that is there on board of ships and aircrafts, and that can cause the magnetic anomalies, or and magnetic anomalies can cause the instruments to fail and basically crash the planes or destroy the ships, right? So an anomaly is something which is not normal, right? We have uh, a fairly uniform magnetic field all around the earth, but if it's an anomalous magnetic region, then there is a high amount of magnetic fields coming out of a specific place. Okay, that's why it's called an anomaly, right? So explanations include magnetic anomalies, pirates. There could be pirates there who are hijacking ships, right? Or deliberate sinkings. So deliberate sinkings would be people sinking their boats on purpose so that they can make their story more credible, right? They can make other people believe that there is actually something mysterious happening in this ocean. So some people purposely go in their boat and then destroy their ships in order to make their story come true, right? Or it could be hurricanes, gas deposits. So gas deposits are, um, we all know there's oil in the underneath the oceans or underneath the earth, right? So when there's oil, there could be gas as well on top of the oil layer, right? So if there are gas deposits, then some of these deposits can just erupt, which can cause explosions. So these can probably sink a ship if it was in the path of an explosion, right? It could also be rough weather or huge waves. There could be extremely big waves that form in the middle of the ocean. You should, if you don't think it's possible that there can be large waves in the middle of the ocean, you should do some research. You might see some interesting facts about that topic as well. Okay, or it could be human error, which is basically mistakes that people make when they are handling instruments, and then they might have destroyed, not on purpose, unknowingly, the ship or the aircraft, right? So some famous reported incidents involving the Bermuda Triangle include the USS Cyclops and its crew of 309 that went missing after leaving Barbados in 1980, right? So USS Cyclops is a warship from the US, and it had a crew of 309. There's a famous story where it just went missing. That is when the theory that there are UFOs or aliens in this region took off in the public eye, I would say. Okay. So this ship just vanished. No, there are no survivors. There's no wreckage. Nothing to be found. So, which is why this area is a bit mysterious. Right? The TBN Avenger bombers that went missing in 1945 during a training flight over the Atlantic. So TBN Avenger bombers are a type of aircrafts. They have bombs strapped to them, and their main purpose is to bomb areas. Okay, so you know that the Navy or the Air Force conducts all these training exercises in anticipation of a war. So when they flew these aircrafts through this region of space, or I would say this Bermuda Triangle area, these aircrafts went missing out of nowhere. They didn't land anywhere, they didn't crash anywhere, they just went missing. So that is another instance where things are very mysterious, right? And then a Douglas DC-3 aircraft containing 32 people that went missing in 1958. No trace of the aircraft was ever found. So another aircraft went missing. Okay, and there's no wreckage, there's nothing to be found, right? And a yacht is a type of boat, okay, was found in 1955 that had survived 3 hurricanes but was missing all its crew. Don't you think that's a bit, weird, right? A boat, a yacht is a fairly small boat that had survived 3 hurricanes. So there was evidence that there are strong hurricanes inside the Bermuda Triangle, and this boat had survived all of those hurricanes, but there was not a single survivor on board. So that is kind of mysterious, right? So you would imagine that at least one person would stay on board and try to reach land, but nobody was on board, and the boat had survived 3 hurricanes, right? So this is where you fall into the alien abductions theories, right? So this is the Bermuda Triangle is a pretty interesting topic. So your main objective here is to use the information that is given in this book in page numbers 106 to 107, and then write a description. Okay, so write a description that includes all of this information in your own words. You can research a bit and then find more details and include it in your description, but that is entirely up to you. Okay, all right, so that's it. We'll move on to the next slide.
Section 1. You will hear a telephone conversation between a woman who is selling some furniture and a man who is making inquiries about it. First, you have some time to look at questions 1 to 5. You will see that there is an example that has been done for you. On this occasion only, the conversation relating to this will be played first.
Hello, Carolyn speaking.
Hello, my name is Lincoln Faraday, and I'm ringing to see if you still have the bedroom furniture that you advertised for sale.
Yes, there are 3 items left. 2 bedside tables and a dressing table.
The woman said she has 3 items available, so 3 has been written in the space. Now we shall begin. You should answer the questions as you listen, because you will not hear the recording a second time. Listen carefully and answer questions 1 to 5.
Hello, Carolyn speaking.
Hello, my name is Lincoln Faraday, and I'm ringing to see if you still have the bedroom furniture that you advertised for sale.
Yes, there are 3 items left. 2 bedside tables and a dressing table.
Oh, good. They're just the items I'm after. Tell me, what's the construction of the bedside tables? I mean, what are they made of?
Well, they're a matching pair and they're made of wood. But the wood has been painted. It's not brown anymore. It's been painted cream.
I see.
Each table has a shelf and 2 drawers. Oh, and the drawers have square brass handles. Quite modern and quite nice, really.
And what about the dimensions?
Well, each table is 50 centimetres wide.
That's good. Much bigger than that, and they wouldn't fit beside my bed. I live in an apartment where the bedrooms are quite small. What I really need to know is how tall they are. You see, my bed's quite high.
65 centimetres high and 45 centimetres deep.
Thanks. Just a couple more questions about the bedside tables. What condition are they in, and how much are they?
They're in perfect condition. There isn't a mark on them. I had them painted professionally, you know, so the finish is much better than you'd normally expect. As for how much, I think £15 each would be fair, but I'll only sell them as a pair, so that's £30 all up.
Before you hear the rest of the conversation, you have some time to look at questions 6 to 10. Now listen and answer questions 6 to 10.
Now, can you tell me about the dressing table?
Yes, it matches the other tables in colour and style.
Good. How many drawers does it have?
5 altogether. The bottom 2 drawers hold more as they're deep.
And the dimensions? How wide is it? That's all I need to know. It wouldn't be more than 1.5 meters, would it?
Well, just under actually. It's 1.25 metres across.
Does it have a mirror?
3.
Sorry?
It has 3 mirrors, you know, a central one and a narrower one on each side. And they're all adjustable.
I see. And the overall condition of the dressing table?
Well, it has a couple of scratches on the surface, but it's still in good condition, so I'm asking £50.
Could I call round and have a look later today?
What time were you thinking of?
In about half an hour.
Oh, yes, that's fine. By the way, my name is Carolyn Klein. It's on the gate at the front of the house.
Klein. Is that Kline?
That's right. And I live at 19 Domain Road.
Did you say the main road?
No, Domain. Domain Road.
That's just off Ashgrove, isn't it?
Yes. See you soon then.
Yes, in about 30 minutes.
That is the end of section 1.
Alright, so you listen to section 1. Obviously you can rewind the video and then go through, or rather listen to this section all over again and try to answer the questions. Make sure you copy all the questions on your writing book and then try to answer the questions. And make sure to read the instructions that are given in this section. When it says write no more than 1 word or 1 number, in the spaces given you should only write 1 word or 1 number. Okay, don't write something more than that. Okay, so good luck, and let's once you finish this, let's move on to the next listening test in the next slide. Okay, so in this section the questions are a bit more complicated. There is a diagram given. Listen to the recording and then try to follow what they're saying with the diagram and try to answer the questions, right? And please read all the instructions that are given so that your answers are obviously correct. In question 19 and 20, you're supposed to select 2 answers. So keep that in mind when you're answering. Okay, let's listen to the recording now.
Section 2. You will hear an employee of the Sports Supercentre giving a guided tour of the facilities in the centre. First, you have some time to look at questions 11 to 17. Listen carefully and answer questions 11 to 17.
It's so nice to see so many people here on our open day. I hope you'll be impressed by what you see and that you'll all decide to join up. We have tried to cover all aspects of sport and fitness here at the centre. Well, let's start, shall we? As we're standing here at reception looking down the long corridor, you'll notice the car park on your left, where most of you have parked, asks you to reverse into the parking spaces for safety reasons. Also, this morning, a couple of keen potential members rode their bikes right in through the door instead of leaving their bikes outside there on your right where the secure bike stands are. You may be wondering why there are so many mothers arriving with little children. As we proceed, you'll see that this first room on your right is a creche, where you can leave your little ones for up to 2 hours and they'll be expertly supervised while you work out. After the creche, on the same side of the corridor, is the male locker room with showers, spa and sauna. Opposite that, on your left, there's a staircase leading to the mezzanine floor. You'll not only get a great view out over the playing fields, but you'll also find a coffee shop and snack bar selling a range of wholesome food and drinks, protein shakes, fruit smoothies, that kind of thing. We won't go up the stairs at this point. I'll give you some time later when you can explore at your leisure. Most of you in the group are women, so next let me point out the women's locker room, which has the same facilities as the men's, you know, things like showers, spa and sauna. It's separated from the men's locker room by an office which the staff mainly use for administrative purposes. As we move on the same side of the corridor as the stairs, you'll see the entrance to the main hall, where they hold yoga classes, aerobics and so on. On the wall here, there is a timetable of all group classes and it is updated regularly. Now, opposite the hall is the gymnasium itself. Go ahead, have a look. Impressive, isn't it? Very spacious, light and airy with all the most modern equipment. As we continue down the corridor past the main hall, on the same side, there is a conference room. This is mainly used when the centre is hosting a big sports event of some kind. It gives the officials a quiet place to gather and have meetings and so on. You'll have seen the 400-metre athletics track on your way in beside the car park. We have some pretty big athletics conventions here. Well, after a strenuous workout, I bet there's nothing you'd like more than a swim in the aquatic complex. But first, these rooms on our right are all part of the sports medicine clinic, where you have access to a doctor, physiotherapist, massage therapist, podiatrist, and even a sports psychologist if you need one. Of course, you'll need to make appointments, but if you have any questions, just pop in and see the clinic receptionist and she'll help you out. Okay, let's go through the turnstile ahead of us. And here we are, in the aquatic centre. Turn left, past the pool shop where you can buy or hire goggles, swim caps and such like, and we're outside, poolside. Beautiful, isn't it? Especially on a day like today. Go on, dip your toes in the water, and if that's not warm enough for you, then I'll take you to the indoor pool, which is less than half the size, but heated to 32 degrees. Let's go back past the pool shop and through the double doors to the indoor pool. Well, that's all I have time to show you. Let's go back to the reception area, and if you like, we can run through some details about opening hours, membership and so on.
Before you hear the rest of the talk, you have some time to look at questions 18 to 20. Now listen and answer questions 18 to 20.
Now, in this brochure, you'll see the opening hours. The centre is open 7 days from 5 a.m. to 9 p.m. Monday to Friday, except for public holidays, which follows Sunday's timetable. On Saturdays, we open at the same time as weekdays and close a little earlier. So that's 5 a.m. to 7 p.m. on Saturdays, and on Sundays, everyone gets a sleep in. You can come in between 7 a.m. and 5 p.m. Membership fees cover access to the gym, group classes, and the pool. But if you want to join a swim squad to train with a coach, you should inquire at reception for prices and timetables. In the gym, personal training is available from one of our dedicated team of trainers, and reception will have more information on who is free when and what hourly rates apply. However, there is always a certificated instructor on hand in the gym at all times for advice and help. And once your membership is paid, you're entitled to a free health assessment, and you'll get a program designed to meet your own particular needs. You'll need to book a time for this with the gym instructor. Now, if you're a mum or dad, remember you can leave your children in the creche. They take babies from 6 weeks old. Bookings are essential though, and you'll have to check the website for times and pricing. Members are also entitled to tennis lessons on a Tuesday or Thursday from 9 till 10:30, but bookings are essential, so ring Natalie. Her number is here in the brochure to reserve a place. Well, I think that's it. Any questions?
That is the end of section 2.
Okay, so you can obviously go back and then listen to this section again and try to answer the questions. Okay, again, just like the previous section, please read through all the questions properly and the instructions given so that your answers are accurate. Okay, all right, let's move on to the next slide. Okay, next let's look at the essay section. For your third midterm, the first essay topic that you need to write is about travel broadens the mind, right? So to discuss a few points about this topic so that it would help you in writing this topic. Let's see now, how does travel broaden the mind, right? So when you visit new places, right, you will see new people. That's the first thing you're going to encounter. New people, new places. You will start to see new ways of doing the things that you are used to doing, right? You might see a better way of doing things. You might find exciting people or places, right, which will expand your mind to think beyond what you have already experienced, right? So this is a rough description of how travel can broaden the mind. I want you to think deeply about key points on how travel might affect you if you how travel might affect you if you stay just in Sri Lanka or if you just travel abroad, and then how that might affect your way of thinking about people and the world as a whole, right? Brainstorm some key points before starting the essay. Write down these points. Write down what you're going to write for the introduction, the body, and the conclusion, right? And your essay has to include at least 200 words. You're free to write beyond that, right? Okay, good luck. Let's move on to the next slide. So we have come to the end of the presentation. Please complete all the exercises discussed in this presentation. I hope everyone is safe and healthy. Thank you.